Is my values have not changed.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. You know, we have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke.
The people who are convicted in prison, like the Boston Marathon bomber, on death row, people who are convicted of sexual assault, they should be able to vote?
I think we should have that conversation.
What would you do about the millions of, specifically, assault weapons that are already in circulation? What do you do about those?
Well, there are approximately 5 million, to your point, Craig. We have to have a buyback program, and I support a mandatory buyback program.
It is outdated, it is wrong-headed thinking to think that the only way you're going to get communities to be safe is to put more police officers on the street.
Also says, quote, every individual who is a resident of the United States is entitled to benefits for health care services under this act. Not every individual who's a citizen, but every individual who's a resident. So you support giving universal health care, Medicare for all, to people who are in this country illegally?
Let me just be very clear about this. I am opposed to any policy that would deny in our country any human being from access to public safety, public education, or public health, period.
To reiterate, you support the Medicare for All bill, I think initially
Correct.
co-sponsored by Senator Bernie Sanders. You're also a co-sponsor
Yes.
on it. I believe it will totally eliminate private insurance. So for people out there who like their insurance, well, they don't get to keep it.
Let's eliminate all of that. Let's move on.
How dare we speak Merry Christmas? How dare we?
And yeah, I am rad, but
Is my values have not changed.
And it be the left that be advocating against free speech and be wanting to censor people and do all that. This is why we need to make sure our amendments are, put there, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need to make sure that the laws of the land is staying on, par in America, with the morals and values, because this is why we need free speech, so people can tell you who they really are. Because Kamala just straight told us exactly who she is, you know what I mean? And these ads are becoming incredible. And again, I know that y'all saying that y'all been saying opposite opponents ads on these videos. The irony, right? No change, though, in my opinion. Let's read a few. She realizes now that she has to lie about her values if she's going to compete with Trump in this election. That's exactly why her values are that of Trump's today. Like, she's quite literally still in that. Every time he come out with a new idea, she's like, oh, okay, let me just say that and act like he didn't say it. Literally. Anyhow, shout out to George. He posted this very, very good depiction of the difference between Donald Trump and Kamala. Well, I said that kind of wrong. He didn't really show like a contrast between the two. He just showed you the Georgia-filled streets. And how they wanted to let Kamala know how they feel about her in the state of Georgia. Now, we ain't gonna talk about how, you know, those buses were being used to, you know what I'm saying, to bring some porters into her rallies and stuff. You know, we ain't gonna talk about all that, okay? Everything she do is fake. But you hear the response. They like, yeah, whatever. Sorry, not sorry. Kamala, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Georgia, this isn't a good year for you in Georgia. Anyhow, I promised you guys a 6-minute video of Kamala Harris doing exactly the opposite of what she said. Hold on, where'd it go? Oh no, where did it go? Hold on. Whew. Okay, found it. Anyhow, just to bring you up to speed, Kamala Harris did an interview tonight with Tim Walz and Dana Bash. It was all scripted. It was horrible. Anyhow, she was asked about how she feels about basically lying about Biden's cognitive decline, but she doubled down on her statements and doubled down on her support, you know. But we have her saying she has no regrets about lying to the American people about Joe Biden's obvious cognitive decline, and we got the 6-minute video. But before we do that, I gotta play this ad, man. This ad that RFK Jr. released, and it's one of the dopest Trump ads ever. Before we start going into this Kamala la la la.
Are you or your loved ones suffering from illnesses such as TDS, also known as Trump derangement syndrome? Do you dismiss or deny the current issues facing our country, such as historic inflation, illegal immigration, corporate corruption, World War III escalations, and the chronic disease epidemic? Are you willing to elect someone who was the least popular vice president in modern history, and who offers no policy or vision for America simply because your brain keeps telling you anyone but Trump? If so, you might be struggling from TDS. Introducing Independence. Independence allows you the freedom to finally think independently once again. Instead of believing everything you hear from the mainstream media, independence allows for constructive critical thinking.
I used to hear people on the news say things like,
Donald Trump and the movement he has encouraged are a threat to democracy.
And I instantly believed it. With independence, I now realize the media is run by the Democrat elite, who are a corrupt oligarchy that censors free speech, silences political opponents, supports forever wars, and abandons democracy by anointing its candidates.
Independence may not be for everyone. If you enjoy being lied to about your president's cognitive abilities, support Orwellian totalitarianism, or are excited about communist fiscal policy, independence may not be right for you. Common side effects of independence may include an awakening of rational thought, successfully identifying propaganda, freedom of choice, loss of hatred, anti-narcissistic behavior, and love of democracy.
I used to blindly hate whoever my party was running against. I didn't care about facts or policy because I was hopelessly indoctrinated. With independence, I'm much more interested in policies that uphold democracy, and I truly care about the health of our country and its citizens.
Ask your doctor if independence is right for you, and enjoy your freedoms once again.
Now, politics is ugly, but oh my gosh, that was perfect, man. I was laughing the whole way through, bro. Honestly, this right here is an ad that needs to be played across. You know what? It needs to be played in movie theaters. It needs to be played as a preview. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't even need a trailer to an upcoming movie. The trailer is the movie. Like, it's the whole ad, right? Oh my gosh. Somebody said full steam ahead. November 5th, 99% of independent users showed increase in happiness in just only 1 week, according to 10 peer review studies. Oh, that's the perfect ad, man. It would be the perfect ad. But as I promised, here's Kamala Harris doing her thing, which is lying. Kamala la la lion. You know what? What is it? Camelion? I don't know. Chameleon?
We have a very bold and vibrant president in Joe Biden.
But a majority of Americans, a majority of Democrats, according to our new poll, say they don't want President Biden to run again. What do you say to them?
I mean, George, I think that age is more than a chronological fact, to be very frank with you. It's about thinking about whether we have in our leader, which we do in Joe Biden, somebody who is bold. I mean, think about it. And in Joe Biden, we have a president who is probably one of the boldest and strongest American presidents we have had in his response to the needs of the American people. But he is an extraordinary leader, and I wish that people could see what I see, because there's only one person who sits behind that resolute desk.
You're 58 now. If you win a second term, as you and the president are running to do, he would be 86 at the end of it. The Wall Street Journal had a poll showing 2/3 of Democrats say Joe Biden is too old to run again. Are you prepared to be commander-in-chief?
Yes, I am, if necessary. But Joe Biden is going to be fine. And let me tell you something. I work with Joe Biden every day. The work that under Joe Biden's leadership our administration has accomplished is transformative.
Two very prominent Washington Post articles today talking about President Biden's age, and that's a big concern among the young voters. And in growing poll numbers, that's a big concern. Are people right to be concerned about his age at this point?
Well, let me just say this. When I talk to these young voters, what they want is a leader who is in touch with the problems of today and has a vision for what we can do today and in the future to deal with it. President Biden is the first president to take on in any substantial way the issue of the climate crisis. I'm not going to engage in that hypothetical because Joe Biden is very much alive and running for re-election. First of all, I would say that age is more than a chronological fact. I spent a whole lot of time with our president, be it in the Oval Office or the Situation Room and in other places. And I can tell you, as I just mentioned, not only is he absolutely authoritative in rooms around the globe, but in the Oval Office, meeting with members of Congress, meeting with leaders in industry, meeting with community leaders, I will tell you that he is in front of, often, everyone in the room in terms of thinking about how we can resolve issues, negotiate in a way that is about concession where necessary, but for the sake of accomplishment and actual work.
Let me ask you in a more complicated way. I think there's a lot of people who would say she can't say anything else. She couldn't tell if there was a problem.
I'm not lying.
If there was,
but I'm telling you a fact.
But if there ever is a problem,
yeah.
Do you think that you could go tell the American public? Do you think in your role that you're in a position to do that?
Of course, if necessary, but there's no need for that. There is a political argument that is being made that is not based on substance. And you're asking me to hypothesize around what are my duties to the American people as Vice President of the United States that are based on ethics and morals and the law. I will always follow those rules. But I am suggesting to you that it is important we not be seduced into one of the only arguments that that side of the aisle has right now on this issue in a way that is intended to distract from the accomplishments.
You obviously can't change the president's age. So what is your plan to try and change this perception? How do you do that?
I'll tell you the reality of it is, and I spent a lot of time with President Biden, be it in the Oval Office, in the Situation Room, and other places. He is extraordinarily smart. He has the ability to see around the corner in terms of what might be the challenges we face as a nation or globally.
Why is Biden getting the bad rap and not Trump? I don't get it.
Well, first of all, let me just address the issue directly, because I spend a lot of time with our president, be it in the Oval Office, the Situation Room, you name it. We have a president in Joe Biden who is forward-thinking in a way that we've not seen in a long time. I want to get to the heart of what I think you're raising, which you've said is his age. So let's talk about that. I spend a lot of time with Joe Biden, be it in the Oval Office or the Situation Room. And I can tell you, this is someone who is tireless in terms of working on behalf of the American people. To your point of knowing Joe Biden, he comes from a background and a place in his heart and soul where he cares so deeply about working people, about families. So the way that the president's demeanor in that report was characterized could not be more wrong on the facts and clearly politically motivated.
what do you say to those concerns? And specifically, if he had to pass the powers to you for 1 second, 1 minute, heaven forbid, and I ask with all due respect, but are you capable? Are you ready to step into the role and do whatever the country would need?
Absolutely ready. But thank God our president is in good shape, in good health, and is ready to lead in our second term.
We also.
I'm allergic to this BS, bro. We made it to the 6-minute mark. I can't do no more. Wow. I'm gonna just say this because, unfortunately, y'all, I gotta, hit this road. My sister's literally outside of my house door right now, like, yo, come on, we gotta hit the road. I gotta head to Chicago. But just to wrap this up, man, just notice how she was blinking her eyes really like a whole lot. A whole lot. Shout out to Donald Trump, man, because unlike Kamala, he hasn't changed. He's only evolved in his stances, and he stood on business, and his record definitely speaks for itself. So, can't wait for November to come back, and we're gonna really have to show up and show out, because you see how Georgia showed Kamala Harris how they felt about her tonight. And I will be definitely doing videos on the road. I don't know how soon I'll be able to get it up live, but we'll figure it out. But last but not least, love that JFK campaign ad for Trump. I thought it was crafted perfect. Y'all be safe, man. Go check on somebody today. You could be saving their life. Oh my gosh, I'm allergic to the